Hi guys. So I just want to take a few minutes while I had some time and while I was thinking about it. And I don't know, just kind of like talk about a few things. I was chatting with a friend yesterday and we were just talking about how complicated dating and stuff can be, you know, after 30 or like later on, like when you're meeting people who have already had children with others or somewhat established lives, you know, maybe on their second or third relationship, things like that, you know, and just how complicated life can be because of like houses and cars and babies and just, it's different, right? It's just very different. And yeah, it's like you do have to kind of like, I don't want to say make a stand, but you do kind of, you have to think about these things prior to actually, you know, getting involved with somebody, you know, like how you feel about XYZ, you know. Anyway, so have you thought about that? Have you thought about that? I know I have. I actually thought about it when I got married the second time because he had 4 adult children and I loved them all. And when he had grandchildren born, I loved them like my own. I still love them. And I still miss them and think about them, and I can't wait to go see them. And yeah, I just look at, for me personally, I look at extended family and friends family and family you know, of a significant other, especially if you decide to actually get married to that person and try to, you know, start a life with that person. I look at kids, whether they're, you know, quote unquote stepkids or whatever, I look at them as my own, meaning I do unto them how I would do for my own. Okay, that's how I look at it. You know, like how would I want somebody, a stepmother or any type of fill-in family member, treat my own children, my own boys, you know. And that's how I treat them. That's what I do, if not better, because you know how it is. You know, it seems like you have more fun with other people's children because you can love them up and, you know, rough them up, do all that fun stuff and everything, and then, you know, give them back. And I do understand now why grandparents say that, like that's the fun part, like our aunts and stuff. They sugar them up and give them home. No, I don't believe in a lot of sugar for kids because it does make them unruly. But, you know, I do personally feel that it's like when I got married the second time, but I really do genuinely feel this way. Anybody who is going to be considered part of my family or inner circle or anybody that I care about is going to get what I would do for anybody in my family, okay? And I will not be accused of not helping to provide for my own. You know, being lazy or not being lazy was a big thing in my family. And like the Bible says, those who don't work shouldn't eat, right? So my boys will tell you, like my oldest son, he was dragging the lawnmower up and down the street making money when he was in middle school. And the rule was he had to pay for half of his sneakers if he wanted name brand or anything like that, like expensive stuff. Then either, you know, somebody in the family was being kind, you know, because I just didn't agree with just, you know, giving into you know, spoiling and just like not them not having to work, at least meeting me halfway. And actually I still stand by that. I don't care if I have the money for it or not, because I'm gonna tell you what, I had an experience a couple days ago with somebody who was he was loading my car with the groceries, and you know, it was to do a delivery, and you know, I told him, I said, look, because I'm funny about certain things in the back seat and stuff because it can ruin your car. I've been doing that for over 3 years now, And deliveries can ruin your car if you're not careful. So like whenever I do them and I get a chance to actually do them, like it has to be my way. I have to have everything a certain way. I'd rather just load it myself, right? But this young man, when I said that, just gave me all kinds of mouth. And it was raining or whatever, and he was just I don't know if he was just having a bad day or what, but I was like, look, this is just the way I like things, I've had bleach spill in my car, not in this car, but in other cars, I've had milk spilled, I've had detergent spilled, which at least it smelled nice for a while, but so anyway, I know why I'm saying what I'm saying, but this boy was like, I said, when he gave me some mouth service, and I said, you know what, when you get older and you pay for your groceries and whatnot, and as you get older and stuff, you will feel the same way about certain things of yours too. And he got super, his entitlement came out. You could hear it in his voice, and he was like, and he went off. I don't even know what he said exactly, but blah blah blah, I'm this, I'm that, I got cars or something, I don't know. And I guess whatever I said, I was like, listen, whatever I said, he was like, his response to me was, don't son me. He said, and don't son me. That's what he said. He said, don't son me. He said, don't son me. I'm 21 years old. That's what he said. I was thinking to myself, if my son said that to any woman, I would come over wherever I was at and slap him in the face myself. I'd be like, look, that is disrespectful. And when he said that to me, I said, don't son you because you're 21? Can I son my 23-year-old son? And I know he just looked at me, and I'm like, this is why you got to be careful with black women, right? Because we all know black don't crack. We all know this, okay? This is no, but there's other races that don't crack either. But the point is that you don't know how old the person is you're talking to. And I got a 23-year-old son, and he's telling me, a 21-year-old, not to son him. I was like, you are so entitled, you are a bride. And my son better not be that. But let me tell you something. I would be this way with I would like, look, you will get farther in life with showing respect, right? You get much farther in life showing respect and not having an entitled attitude, right? So don't baby your children, don't spoil your children. They do have to learn on their own sooner or later. But I would hope that if I wasn't around, that somebody would tell my son not to be a brat, not to be a, entitled microwave, what do they call it? Zennial, whatever. It's not millennials anymore. To pass that, I forget what the next, whatever it is. The point is that respect and not being entitled will go a long way, regardless of what you have. Just showing respect, you will gain more respect from that. But anyway, that was my little rant, okay? It was like, don't son me, because I'm 21 years old. And I was just like, okay, yeah. Tell that to my 23-year-old son. But anyway, so that's how I treat my children. But the thing is, if you're going to be a part of me and my circle or anything, right, I'm going to make sure that you're taken care of, like you're not only fed, but it's like, for me, it's important that it's like, I take pride in taking care of my family, my kids, to the best of my ability, right? And in the things that I put importance on. So it's not about, for me, and this is the way I was raised, and I find this to be the best way. It is not about name brand stuff and having the best, nice, and everything that you just give your children, or you just have it, right? Actually, the strength and the growth comes from the journey of getting the item or working hard, right? It's in the journey, it's in the working hard that respect, value grows, and the character grows. If you remember, was it it wasn't Isaac. Who was it? Was it Isaac with Rebecca and Leah? Oh my God, I'm having a mental. Was it Isaac? No, it wasn't. Who was it that had to work for Laman for 7 years, whatever, and then he had to work another 7 years? Anyway, let me tell you something. I'm sure that during those 7 years, 7 more years and all that, that's what made his love grow. He had to work harder for her, right? He had to work extra hard. I mean, and that's really where the growth happens. That's where a person builds their character, when they have to work hard for something. And your children need to do this young in life. Young. They need to understand that things don't just come, right? Because otherwise you'll have bratty children who don't understand opportunities, right? Anyway, that's the way I was raised. So it's not about having the best, nice, and everything just right away. But I will never be accused of, not working to feed my children. Never. Like, that is like a big thing for me. And anybody who is around me, in my care, or anything like that, is going to eat. That's what my grandmother used to say. We're going to eat. God's going to make sure we're going to eat. Okay? We are going to eat. And my grandmother used to always say, cabbage, potatoes, and onions. Like, you would think we're Caribbean, right? Egg, cheese, potatoes, and cabbage, right? Anyway, there is no reason to go hungry. I can make, when you can make any kind of meal taste really good, right? Okay, so that's just how I feel about it, right? But also, I feel like if I have it, I'm going to make sure that they have it. So I'm going to give you an example. My second husband, when I found out that his oldest daughter was going to have a baby, and she was, going to be born while with us down here in this area, I mean, I guess you could say I went a little overboard. I mean, she told me I went overboard, but I didn't think I went overboard. But I couponed crazy for the baby as much as I could, because I was excited, but also it was like a baby, a new baby is coming. And I mean, I just got a lot of stuff, and just to get ready. And I mean, I did that even for I did that with my own babies, but I wasn't couponing. But I mean, couponing takes it to a whole new level. I was like extra prepared. I was excited. And she was like, okay, Mel, this is too much. It's too much stuff. But that's, I do the best that I can with what I'm given at the moment, right? But that's just how I feel about it. It doesn't matter if you're like blood or not blood, right? So that's how I feel about like extended family, steps, stuff like that. Like, I'm gonna treat you like my own, right? That's just how I feel about it. Also, I just think that there should be respect shown in general, just in general, basic respect. If you're having a hard time showing basic respect to individuals, regardless if they're in your family or not, then it's best to probably not be around that person, right? Because if you can't show decent respect, it's just going to make for a hard life for everybody involved. It's just going to make for difficulties, right? So that's how I feel about that. Things like getting revenge and stuff like that. We were talking about that too. Because obviously the older you get, and you have friends and people, like, we talk about our relationships. We talk about, our things that we've gone through, going through, or whatever, right? And a lot of times women are known for getting back. And I've talked about this before in past videos. Women will talk about revenge sex. But I don't believe in that. Okay? I never did. Mainly because Jehovah God doesn't believe in that. And that's who I worship. So that's just something I don't do. Okay? I don't get revenge. I don't get revenge at all. The Bible says vengeance belongs to me. Okay, the Bible says vengeance belongs to him. So you have to let God get the get back. Whatever get back you feel is warranted, right? You got to let him be the judge of that. I have never been one to be revengeful. I've never done that. I'm not going to start doing that now as an older, more mature woman. Okay, I'm not going to do that now. When somebody wrongs me, I pray about it and I give it to him. I let him know. That's it. That's what I do. And I let it go. Because I just know that God sees all angles of a situation. He sees everything. And he knows what's best. And he also knows if the person that you're dealing with is a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, or if the person you're dealing with is just having a bad day, right? Or maybe somebody had just died, or whatever. right? But we don't know that, right? We don't know all those things. We don't know sometimes what you're actually dealing with. We can tell when somebody has a particular like spirit about themselves, that they show up all the time with a spirit about them of jealousy or wickedness or unkindness or mean, condescending, jealous, little sly remarks, things like that. When they show up in a consistent manner, when a person shows up in a consistent manner, XYZ, then you can say, it's pretty safe to say that that person is XYZ, because they have consistently shown up in this particular way. For people to change and pivot and be different, they need to be a humble person to admit that they need to change something, right? And then it takes usually time, about a year sometimes, of a person consistently in a changed way, a changed manner, to showing up in that way for people around them to notice the change and to trust the change. So it's kind of like saying, let's just say I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say you are a man, okay? Let's say you're a man and you've cheated on your wife. I'm gonna just say you're married or something. Let's say you've cheated on your wife however many times, umpteen million times, right? And she has had to take you back so many times, and then finally you cheat on her that last time or whatever. It's the last time. You don't know it was the last time, but she knows it's the last time, because she done already had it up to here with you, and she might have given you the benefit of the doubt, like like she knew you had one more opportunity, whether or not she told you or not, right? And yeah, so, but for you were, for whatever reason, that last time burned you, okay? And you're like, well, I'm never going to cheat on her again. But it don't matter, right? Because she's made this decision, like, hey, that was the last time you did that, right? And you might be like, baby, I've changed. And she's just like, okay, that's great. Be changed for somebody else. If you've changed and you want to hang up your player's card, right? What do they say, your player's jacket? Then that's what you're going to do with or without that woman. That woman or that person who you might have been changing for or wanted to change for was maybe the catalyst for that growth or that change. But due to the battered wife syndrome, emotional wife or whatever that you've done to her, she cannot see that change. And if she was to even see a change in you, it would be years from now, when she can look at what you decided to do with your life after her and say you were a changed man. Maybe you changed because of somebody else. Maybe somebody else made you want to change. I don't know. That happens. Men will change. They change for who they want to change for. I mean, everybody knows that, right? So the thing is, and that's true. That is very true. And let me tell you what marks a very, very mature, it's a very mature woman who understands her power. What do I mean by that? Women are powerful. Yes, we are. Okay. But we're not powerful to everybody. You know how people will call you queen? They'll say, okay, queen. Yes. Are we queens? Yes, we are. Am I a queen? Yes, I am. Am I every man's queen? No, I'm not. Why? Because I don't have power over every man. And what I mean by that is, it takes a mature woman to understand when she has the power over a man. And what do I mean? Like, not power to tell him what to do or to run him, or not even the power. I don't even mean the power to hurt him and stuff, right? Like, so it's like, yes, you have power. You have the power that I'm talking about. The real power isn't even so much in like, like, it's not in how you scream or yell at anybody, right? It's not about that. The power is your power to evoke change. If you have the power to evoke change in, let's say, whoever God has placed in your path, or whoever is in your circle, whether it's your children, your sons, or your husbands, or whoever, if you're taking care of grandparents or whatever, whoever's in your family or whoever's around you, whoever God has placed in your care, stepchildren or not, right? If somebody has given you that power, or you can sense that you have that power, it takes a mature woman, a classy woman, and preferably a godly woman, to know just what to do with that power. For it not to go to her head, number one, okay? And for her to use that power for wicked or evilness, or just for her own benefit, right? That's getting revenge, right? That's like, okay, I have the power to hurt you. I forgave you, or whatever. I have the power to hurt you, and now I'm going to turn around. Like, I forgave you, but I'm going to turn around and hurt you back. And that's how I'm going to use my power. Well, that's very immature. It's just immature. Because revenge doesn't make anybody a better person, a stronger person. It doesn't make anybody respect you more. Revenge doesn't do that. What makes revenge, if you want to call it revenge, the best thing is when a person just decides to leave. When a person just says, I respect myself too much for you to cheat on me 12 million times over and over again, or for you to treat me like this, or for you to hit me, or whatever. Now, a lot of these things, again, are stemmed from how you were raised and what you were raised to believe is acceptable, and the lack of shadow work and healing you've done. But nonetheless, right, a man will respect a woman who does not allow him to walk all over her. He may not want to be with that woman. He may decide, well, that's I don't want to be with that person. You're not easy for me to get with. It's easier. I want to be a player, so I want to go get with somebody else who's going to let me be a player. Okay, that's cool. But that doesn't mean he doesn't respect you. For a man to leave you alone and not keep trying to knock on your door or whatever, right? He's showing that he respects you. He's not going to play with you. He doesn't want to play with your heart. He doesn't want to lie to you. Okay? And that means he respects you. Because he can see you're not going to let him play around on you. And that is using your power in the right way. It's utilizing your power in the right way. It's not like, oh, I'm going to get revenge back, or I'm going to, put tons of magnesium in the brownies so that you have diarrhea all night long. I think I read that in a book of somebody doing that. Some lady doing that. I don't remember if it was a book or a movie. I don't remember. Who knows? But anyway, that's not wielding your female power, right? That's not being a real queen. A queen is not every man's queen, number one, and a queen knows her power, and a queen doesn't have to go around and say, I'm a queen, to be a queen. Okay? And I don't need to be addressed as queen. I already know, like I did with my first husband, and I was married, okay, until he passed, right? And I was with him for 17 years total. But let me tell you something. Other people used to say to him, she's queen bee, or she thinks she's queen bee, or she knows she's queen bee, stuff like that, right? I never said that. I never said I'm queen bee. I mean, I might agree with him, but I didn't have to. I didn't have to be like, oh, I'm queen bee, blah, 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 blah. I didn't have to. Okay, I didn't have to. Why? Because it's like, no, you can, it's really your boundaries. It's really what it is. It's really your boundaries. How you present yourself, classy or no class, D-class-A, right? It's when you're not able to control your emotions, at least in front of others. Most importantly, in front of others. But as you get older, you should be able to even control your emotional state and not having a lack of control at home. Now, I'm not talking about being dramatic and being, having a flair in your speech and like me. I mean, people call me dramatic all the time. I'm definitely dramatic, but I'm not out of control. I mean, I'm definitely dramatic, right? But I don't have to force down anybody's throat that I'm a queen. I don't do that. I already know I'm a queen. I may or may not be your queen, right? I may or may not have the power over you, kind of thing. Like, you may not care at all what I think. And if you don't care what I think, and if my opinion means nothing to you, I'm not your queen. I can't really evoke change in you or get you to see things in a different way. And I don't mean in a manipulative way, right? But I mean, like, when you're in a relationship or when you are with children, right, and you're trying to guide them in a certain direction, or if you have a relationship and you are guiding that man, you know, in a way, it's like, okay, things happen in relationships, right? But when you have gotten cheated on consistently over and over and over again, there's a problem. That person doesn't respect you. He's not afraid to lose you, clearly. And he knows that you're not going to do anything about it. And you're not wielding your power in a way, in a mature way. Like, there's something wrong with all of that. There's something wrong. There's just something wrong with that, right? Now, it's different if it's agreed upon and you have an open relationship and stuff like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about women who... you know, who are consistently hurt over and over and over again. And some men are just cheaters, and that's just what they are. They're not ready to hang up their player's hat, give up their player's card, right? They're not ready for that. A man knows when he wants to do that. He does. And you cannot force that down anybody's throat. You cannot force, I'm your queen, down any man's throat. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. If you don't actually evoke real change on the inside, and I don't mean, it's like you can't put a knife to some man's throat and be like, I'm gonna, you know, control them that way. Being a mafia-like person is not going to earn and get and really evoke real deep respect on the inside. You might scare somebody into doing whatever, but as soon as you turn your back or they get the opportunity to run and leave or do whatever they want to do, they're going to do it. Why? Because forcing anything is not a way to, you can't force the crown on your head or him to give you that crown. You cannot do that with a man. You can't do that. You can't do that with anybody, right? If a person feels that way towards you and they actually value you and what you are as a person, if they value who you are, what you're about, your character, how you stand, like what you do with your time, with your energy, and how you treat others, if they value those things, how you nurture the family, right? They're going to place the crown on you. And here's the other thing. When I say when they value that, I mean the littlest things, like, you know how children, when they'll go through phases and like, I only want mommy, because mommy knows how to, the right temperature for the bathtub. Mommy knows like the exact amount of food to put on the plate, like what that person likes. Your wife knows XYZ about what you like, what you need. Certain things, right, that you might do for this person or your family, right, that you have, because you have your finger, your thumb on the pulse of the needs of those around you, right? And because of that, and different things like that, and how you choose to wield your power, your words, and how you choose to execute your influence, right? They will place the crown on you and will call you a queen. They will feel like you're a queen. And you will get that respect, and they'll be afraid to lose you. They'll be like, I can't lose you. I don't want to lose you. You're the best thing I've ever had, right? And because of that, I'm hanging up my player's card, because I know if I do XYZ, you're not going to stay, right? But a person has to know that about you. They have to know, and it's not through your mouth, it's through your words. Even my first husband, when I left him, when I separated from him, when we broke up. I mean, we broke up. I wasn't planning on marrying him. I really wasn't. But we had broken up for 4 months, which 4 months with no social media back then. We did not have the internet. Well, the internet was out, but people didn't. Not everybody even had computers in their house, or they were just starting to get like the big computers, But we didn't have no smartphones, GPS, and all that kind of stuff. We were not it was like a real, like, I don't know anything about you. He had to call people to see what I was doing, you know, and how I was doing. Because I would not talk to him. I would not see him. I made sure not to run into him. He had to find out. So it was 4 long months of nothing. And it was going to stay that way if he did not come back and get me, right? And stake his claim. Because I had already made it up in my mind that, you know, we broke up, but we broke up. He had lied to me about something. I don't even remember what it was at this point, but he lied to me about something, and it was like twice. For me, this was the second time I was like, okay, we're done, and I really meant it. And I started dating somebody else. I mean, I was already dating. I started dating because that's just what it is to me. That's just what it is. But then I don't have beat me up syndrome. Okay, so I'm and it's not, has nothing to do with my looks. It's the way that I was raised. Okay, it's not about looks. It's not about anything. Like, it's not about anything on the outside. It's about the way that I was raised, self-esteem, having boundaries. And I am not the type of person who actually, you know, who believes somewhere deep down inside that I deserve to be, you know, last on his list, cheated on, or a side chick, a second wife, or a second person, or second rate, second best, anything. No, I don't feel that way. I never have felt that way. I wasn't raised to feel like, those are things that I don't fight with. I don't fight with those things in my head. Okay, so for me, it's just like, if I'm not really the one, I'm not your queen. I don't really evoke change in you. I don't stir up anything in your heart, right? Like, I am not motivating you and moving you for me in a positive way. Okay, I don't motivate people to do anything bad. Then I'm not your queen. I'm just not your queen. And that, what I'm talking about is the example that I feel children should see in the household, like I saw growing up with my family. Okay, they shouldn't see mom screaming and yelling and going crazy, or, you know, getting aggravated and having short-tempered moments because the man that she's with has irritated her soul. If you irritate that woman's soul to no as far as I'm concerned, I cannot be with you. Like, I'm not your queen. You're irritating my soul. And I've literally ended a relationship with that. Like, I had to. And it's like, that might sound, I know a lot of people who, I get it. I understand. I love the Bible. I love God. I get it. But I am not a martyr. And we are living in imperfect times, and Jesus Christ came to earth for a reason. And you can only try. So for me personally, because the way that I respond to stress and things like that, stresses and irritation of my soul, is in health concerns. You know, I start to look so horrible when I'm under stress, but I also start to feel it. My blood pressure goes up. I mean, to me, like, I literally feel like that person's gonna kill me. Not because it's gonna actually kill me, but the stress of being with that person, I can't take it. I physically am not strong enough to withstand a constant barrage of irritating behavior that a person doesn't want to change. And obviously I'm a communicator. So for me personally, you know, like I say, I have, I'll communicate only to so much extent, and then I'm done. And when I'm done, I'm done. I'm done. You know, like, it's like, I cannot say it anymore. If I can't evoke the change in you for what's either needed for the household, for the family, and for me, for there to be growth and positive and good feelings in the relationship, if I can't do that, I'm not your queen. That's just all there is to it. It's like, if something about me is making you not want to be devoted to just me and our growth and our family, or what we have going on, whatever that is, right? If I'm not enough to take up your complete mental and your heart, then I'm just not your queen. Also, that's the way that I feel. Some men, I do feel there are some men who just, and there's really just a few that I've actually met. A few, when I say a few, there's only a few that I believe probably could actually entertain more than one woman. And maybe, honestly, maybe only two. They might want more than that because sexually, okay, but can they actually mentally handle more than two? No, I don't think so. No. And it depends on if they got two duds or they got two women like me, okay? And I said it because there are some men who are draining. Not on purpose, but their brain just, it's like all the power and energy in their body goes to the brain or whatever. And they just have this insatiable appetite, desire for that growth, or that stimulation. Like more than sexual, like talking and debating and doing, and yeah, they have too many wheels turning on in their head. I don't know how to explain it, but I've seen men like that. And I'm definitely not the smartest woman out there, but I may not be the sharpest knife, right? But I ain't the dullest knife either, okay? And I know I do make the majority of men that I have dealt with, I run circles around them, okay? But when a man runs circles around me, or when I see that I have not tired him out, that I haven't tired him out, like I'm the one that's tired, then I know, like, you know, he needs more than what I have to give him. So there might be somebody out there who could do that, you know, or he just might need, it's like he needs 2 or 3 of me, you know. And I really only met just I say a couple, like literally, I can only think of 3, 2.5, like 2, maybe 3 men that I genuinely felt like either I wasn't enough or they really could use more of me, like somebody like me. They need that stimulation, just everything, mental stimulation, sexual stimulation, and just they need things to do, you know what I mean? Like they just have a lot of energy and all that. So anyway, I didn't go further. Like those men, they were not anybody that I pursued personally. I didn't want to even like be with or anything like that. Like it wasn't any kind of, but I could just see that they were that type of person. But most men are not. Most men are just, they're just not right. They're not with the right person. They're just not with the right person, right? But if they have it in their mind that they want to have multiple women and all that kind of stuff, then you just may not be on the same page with that man, right? But they'll want to call you queen and this, that, and the other. No, I'm not your queen. I don't know the temperature of the water that you want in your bathtub. Because this queen, yeah, I want you to run my bath water and I'll run yours. Okay, that's just the way I roll. Like, if it's like, I don't know. It's like the reason what makes me your queen is not the fact that, it's not even the fact that I'm willing to run your bath water and put bubbles, you know, and do, and for the kids too, right? It's not that. That's not what makes me a queen. Because a maid will do the same thing. What's the difference? It's the motivation behind why I will run your bath water. The motivation behind why you want me to run your bath water. Okay? It's how I do it. Me doing it with love, right? I know the exact temperature of the water you want. I can do it with love or I can do it with resentment, right? I can do it because you pay me to do it, because I might be a maid or a housekeeper or whatever, and I can do it for that reason, or I can do it because I genuinely respect you and know you had a hard day working and your muscles are sore. And, you know, I can do it, you know, in a turtleneck, or I can do it in negligee. And I can run the bath water and rub the muscles down and do that kind of stuff, or I can put ice cold water in it and leave and put, like, you know, a toaster nearby and tell you to put a sign that say drop the toaster in the water plugged in, and, you know, like, and have attitude, right? Like, come on. Okay, so it's the same act, but it's a matter of what really makes you somebody's queen, right? He respects you, he trusts you for a lot of different things, right? And then what you do with that power that you yield and that you wield over him and the family, what you do with that power and how you know, use your whip, so to speak, how you do that shows if you have class, shows if you have spirituality and God about you, if you have strong character, and what kind of boundaries you have, shows who you are as a person. Do you abuse your power, or do you use it in a good way to evoke positive change, good change, and growth? in others, in yourself, and the family, right? And I feel personally that as a woman, a godly woman, a woman of God, a spiritual woman, a woman who understands that there are higher powers in you, that there is, God is always looking down on you, that you have to answer to Him foremost. More than any man who's your head. You have to answer to God for your actions and how you decided to wield your power, right? But that's only if you actually respect God as the higher power. If you actually respect Him. If you don't, okay, then, you might have a different set of standards that you live by, right? And then you have to make sure you're with, the right person to actually reflects that, right? But, how do I view, like, outside family members and things like their family? If I'm with somebody, like, his family is my family. And then I remember the judge that married me and my second husband, when I told her we were getting divorced, she said, listen, it happens. And she said, I want you to keep in mind that, and I like the way she said this. She said, remember that you're divorcing the person, not the family. Because a lot of times you can develop relationships, loving relationships with the family members. And it can hurt to sever those ties, right? And in actuality, you don't have to sever those ties. You don't have to sever those ties. In actuality, you're divorcing the person, meaning the marriage is dissolved. But the relationship with the outside family members is not dissolved. If you have cultivated love, honor, respect with the other family members, that relationship can and should stay. There is, especially when children are involved, children should not be jerked around. Okay, that's just not right. Children should not be jerked around. Okay, children deserve to have the relationship with whoever that they have developed relationships with. Okay, if they've developed a relationship with steps, grandparents, fathers, uncles, whoever it is that they're, and this is good, then they deserve the right to have those relationships as long as the relationship is positive, right? If you, as the mom, are trying to wield your power over, like, an ex or something like that, by, like, not letting him see his kids, or, I mean, I've heard of and I've seen so much stuff, and I just think that is, like, such a bad way to wield your power over the family, the children and whatnot, to try to control, like, your children if they can see their mother or father, like that kind of thing. That stuff backfires you when the kids get older. All that does is backfire on you, because kids are not stupid. Kids are smart. Let me tell you how smart kids are, okay? When I had the kids over the weekend, the older one, Robbie, okay, the kids were in the back seat, and we went through the car wash, right? And they love to help me wash the car and stuff like that. But I was doing a quick one because I just really wanted to kind of get the outside clean. So I wasn't trying to stay too long. So the kids had stayed in the car. We went through the car wash, and I was vacuuming a minute. I said, no, I just want to get the front seat. I'm not gonna do the whole thing today because we were going somewhere else. I don't remember. We were on a time thing. Anyway, so the kids were sitting there, so they were watching me. They knew I was just doing this right here after I went through the car wash. And there was a guy next to me, and I don't even remember what all he said, but it was, you know how it is, like, you got to share the vacuum, and he was like, okay, here, you want to use this now? Or I think he was saying something to the effect of, like, do you want help? I think he was offering to help me vacuum. I don't know. This is another guy next to me who was vacuuming his own car. Honestly, I didn't give him 2 seconds of a thought. I mean, I just don't, like, I don't know how to, I hate to sound so whatever, but I don't like to, if I'm not even gonna, like, entertain somebody. I met my second husband at the car wash, so I'm very careful about looking a man in the eye for too long and knowing, or maybe accidentally giving him the cue or the whatever to talk to me if I'm not attracted to him. Like, if I don't think he's, like, whatever, right? Okay, so anyway, wasn't trying, but he kept trying. I guess he kind of kept trying to talk to me. But anyway, Robbie in the back seat was like, when I said no, whatever, I said no, thank you, I vacuumed real fast and whatever, I got in the car, and he was like, he said, what, that man, what did he say? That man thinks you're pretty. That's what he said. I think that's what he said. I think he said, that man thinks you're pretty. This is like, when I got in the car as I was playing out, and I said, what? He goes, yeah, I think he like wants to get with you. This is what Robbie said, okay? Is he 8? I think he's 8. Is he 8 or 9? Oh my God, I'm so terrible with ages. But anyway, I was like, what? What are you talking about? How do you know that? Right? So I just said, how do you know that? And he says, no, this is what I said. I said, what? How do you know that? Are you psychic? Because he always says, Mel's psychic, Nina's psychic, you know, because I will bring him a drink when I can tell he's, you know, like if he's thirsty, hungry, whatever. I always do things like, as a mom, right? Like right before he actually says anything, he's like, you're psychic. I know you. How did you know that I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Whatever, right? He's so funny. He's hilarious. So he says these things to me, right? He's like, you're psychic. So I use his word on him. I'm like, how do you know that? What are you, psychic? That's what I said to him. And he was like, no, that was easy to tell, Nina. And I was like, how? How could you tell? He goes, I saw it in his eyes. That's what he said. I promise you. God is my witness. I wish I had it on camera because it was so cute. It was one of those cute moments, kid moments, right? He was like, you could see it in his eyes. I said, what did you see? What did you see in his eyes? And he was like, I want to get with you. I like you. I want you to be my girlfriend. That's what he told me. So anyway, I was like, oh really? That's what he was saying in his mind? And I was like, well, good thing I got out of there real fast, huh? He was like, yeah, good thing. But the point is, like, I think he's 8, right? So you understand what I'm saying? The point is, children may or may not feel free enough to say what they're really thinking or what they know to be true. But they know and they pick up on a lot. And if they think or feel that their mother or their father or somebody is being underhanded about trying to, you know, control something, the outcome of something or whatever, by trying to use the kids, you know, or not letting them have their relationship with kids, as soon as they get old enough or as soon as they feel like they can get away or whatever, they will leave so fast. They will want to be with that other parent because they won't like knowing that the other parent is using them as a puppet or dangling a carrot, using them as a dangled carrot. Kids will pick up on that stuff and they will get back at the other parent. I've seen them do it. And I had friends I grew up with who told me that that's what their parent was doing, whatever, and that they hated it. And they had always said that as soon as they got whatever age, whatever, they were leaving or whatever, they want to come stay with their other parent because they were like, no, they weren't having it. They didn't like it. They didn't like that feeling, and they knew who they wanted to be with, right? So I caution women and men who try to do those types of things. The kids will get back at you if you try to do that. The kids pick up on everything. They can pick up on so much, especially if they're halfway smart, intuitive, or anything. Like Robbie is the oldest. He's definitely with it. He's very with it. He notices everything. So, you know, anyway, this is so funny because the younger one, you know, he texted me this morning. He said, Nina, don't you like cake? come over here and make cake, and come pick me up from school, and like, I want to see you today. He was trying to he was trying to lure me to the house to come and make cake, and he wants to spend time with me. This is his way of saying he wants to spend time with me. But what was so cute, what he didn't know though, I gotta find the text, I gotta snap it. What he didn't know is, like, okay, when I get text messages or DMs from men, guys, you know, people, you know, men, okay, because I don't be dealing with no females. Everybody knows that, okay. Anyway, when I get text messages talking about, you know, what you're doing, where you at, you know, what you're doing and stuff, and we're not together or whatever, you know. First of all, I like my beauty sleep, so when those messages come in late at night or whatever, if you're not my significant other, whatever, I'm out. I'm not answering no phone. I'm not going through this. I'm not about to tell you what I'm wearing and all that kind of stuff. No, if you want to know what I'm wearing, then we need to be together so you can come see what I'm wearing, okay? You know, and and if I like you, you might, no, I'm just kidding. Anyway, the point is that when I was looking at a message somewhere, what you doing, you know, and then Ryan's text came in, and I wanted to be like, you know, I'm talking to my man. Who's 6 years old, who commands me around like his man. But anyway, because Ryan will FaceTime me too. He'll FaceTime me so fast and be like, Nina, what are you doing? He just like he can't understand, why am I not there at the house or whatever, right? I want to text back, I want to hit guys back and be like, what am I doing? Are you single yet? Like, are you single? Are you still married? You know, that's what I'm saying. Are you still married? That's all. That ends the whole conversation, because I'm like, oh, like, don't ask me what I'm doing or anything like that, or anything. If you're still married, if you still got a baby mama, if you're still busy with whoever, you know, or whatever, if you still got your third party or whatever, like, don't bother me with, you know, what am I doing? Don't worry about what am I doing. What are you doing? Okay, because I'm not the one. Like, I'm not your queen. That's what I know. That's what I know. If that's what you're texting me, that, and you got somebody else that you are providing for, taking care of, and you know, love, or you know, claim to love, or something like that, or sleeping next to, or whatever you got going on, then I'm not your queen. Why are you asking me what am I doing? Why are you worried about what I'm doing? And even if it is talking to a 6-year-old. Anyway, it's already been 50 minutes and I've been talking way too long. Y'all know I'm just a talker and everything. I just be thinking about things that I say I want to like mention. How about, like, did y'all know that there are different types of likes online? Everybody's always talking about, okay, have you ever noticed that, like, I have noticed this, if I post, I don't want to say an ugly photo, but not the best photo of myself, or if I just post something random or something, I don't know, I'll get tons of likes. And if I post a good photo, when I post a good photo, it is so hard for me to get a lot of likes, right? And I was listening to some comedian, or somebody was saying how, you know, I was listening to somebody, but anyway, I was just saying to myself, I think that there's something called pity. There's pity likes. I think there's pity likes for bless your heart likes, like, yeah, you're not that cute today, so I'm gonna hit like, because I'm gonna knock you down to size or something, I don't know. Or they're pity likes, like, you know, they're just doing it because they feel bad for you or something, I don't know. But when I get ghost likes are when it's like you can see that 300 people has viewed your picture and you got like 3 likes, and all 3 likes are from women who are, I consider to be beautiful, very beautiful, right? And they have very high self-esteem and high confidence, and they have no problem hitting like, because hitting like is not taken away from themselves. And I know who these women are, you know, and but it's like I ghost likes. That's an issue there, right? A real queen, a true queen, she can give props to other women with no problem. Like, that's just how I feel about it. I like to build up other women, and I like to have strong women around me. Why? Because iron sharpens iron. I'm sorry, mud is not going to sharpen me, right? Wood is not going to sharpen me. If a woman is wood, I mean, anyway. You know, like, iron sharpens iron, okay? And a diamond needs another hard diamond, right, to go up. Like, that is just what it is, okay? So, for me personally, edifying, building up others, putting into them is benefiting me to have strong women around me, and to keep them built up, because I know they're going to do the same for me. They're going to also keep me on track, right? I need to get off. Let me go. Bye, y'all. Let me stop.